Alrighty, we are back, and today we are going to be updating the top 10 LRs for the end of August, beginning of September, part one of the Transcendent Dokkan campaign with the LR Golden Frieza and Gogeta character. This has definitely caused a bit of a shift in terms of not really the content yet, but in terms of like how the list is looking, characters that are moving up and down. Gogeta and Frieza are a very good unit that are definitely going to be taking their claim in this list for sure. So that means we have to go ahead and update it. And usually I like to update the top 10 LRs every time we get a new summonable LR like this. So that is what we are going to be doing today. Definitely a lot of shifting in terms of characters with the release of, 6 summonable LRs here with the part 1 characters, the part 2 characters, then Gohan, and then Gogeta and Frieza here. So that is one thing that we have to keep in mind. Now, a few disclaimers that I always like to do with these top 10 videos is number one, it's just my opinion, and it's a discussion piece that you guys can definitely disagree or agree with in the comment section below. Let me know how you feel about the list, where you would move a certain character, where would you move him, where would you move them, and that is always something that is a fun discussion to me. Next up, this is going to be evaluated based on the hardest content in the game at the moment. Stuff like the Festival of Battles, things like the Supreme Magnificent Battle, the Goku Black and Zamasu fight, the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta fight, right? Those are the events that we are going to be looking at. Performance in the Festival of Battles is going to be slightly factored, but not heavily factored, because the stacking characters are not going to be in the top 5. But at least they do get bonus points if they are good in there, but that is definitely not going to be like the be-all, end-all. So if you guys enjoyed this one, don't forget to leave a like before you go. It always helps the channel grow, and you guys know how it supports the videos. And subscribe if you guys are new. It makes a massive difference if you subscribe to the channel. We are on the grind to 30,000 subscribers, and I need your guys' help in order to do that. Unfortunately, I can upload the videos, but I can't force you to subscribe. So if you guys want to subscribe, I would really appreciate that. And with all that being said, let's go ahead and get started with today's list. Now, first and foremost, I think usually what I like to do is, we'll a lot of row below down here for honorable mentions, and we'll just go ahead and get these out of the way to get us started. First up, I have Tech Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. I think this guy is an extremely well-designed EZA that people are pretty excited about at this point. Very good in the Festival of Battles, but again, that's not going to be a major consideration. The stacking ability that he has, I think defensively, he is definitely deceivingly good with what you are looking for, and has potential to be an absolute, like, nuke of a unit, right? I think he just has a lot of good tools, and I like where he's at. I don't think he makes the top 10 because he does not have that sort of like slot 1, turn 1 potential that some of these units have here on this team. And it's not really the end of the world to be in the honorable mentions here, right? So that's why I have him down here. Good for the Festival of Battles. That's really what this tier is going to be. Next up, I have Tien. I think Tien is also very good. I guess we can just do this, right? This Tien right here, he very good in the Goku Black and Zamasu fight with his ability to get rid of the supers, right? Not going to be taking any damage, countering back. Just the issue is the normals can potentially tag him up a bit, and he's also just not that consistent in every form of content. I think he works very well on the Mercenary Tau team, but I don't think he's good enough to warrant a top 10 spot on this list. I think he's very good, just not quite there. Next up, I have AGL Super Gogeta. Again, a very good support unit, especially if you're going to be using him in the Festival of Battles. But Dokkan really went out of their way to sort of hard counter the 10-year anniversary LRs, minus this guy right here. That's why he's going to be on the list. Unfortunately, that's just sort of the way that things went. I think that he has, like, if you're looking at things through a Festival of Battle lens, he is definitely going to be on the list still. Extremely, extremely well designed for that. But we're in short form content right now where you just need extremely high damage reduction, extremely high start of turn defense. You need guard, you need dodge potential, right? Some of these characters, even with high damage reduction, right, are still going to get torn up by these supers, right? This Omega right here, if he does not counter the Gohan super turn 1, he's going to get tagged by it. And it's just like, that's just how it goes, right? So I think that this Gogeta here, very good character, just not top 10 right now. And I wish he was, but that's just unfortunately not the case right now. So next up on the honorable mentions, I'm going to be putting our boy Beast Gohan. I think Beast Gohan is extremely good. You guys know putting Beast Gohan anywhere but the top 10 hurts me. I think Beast Gohan, he's one of my goats for sure. Has that like decent slot, like he can work in some of this content, but he really needs that all in the family, and then also needs to take a couple hits to really be where he needs to be. So Can't really put him in the top 10. I don't think he's that consistent at the moment, but overall, I still think he's a very good character. And then the last unit I'm going to be putting here in the honorable mention section is going to be Trunks and Vegeta for their Festival of Battles potential. They're not really a character that you're designed to run in all forms of content, but events where they're designed to be ran, they are amazing, right? I used them in the Festival of Battles recently. We're going to be dropping that video later today. It's like a 2.5-hour video, so if you want to watch it, you can. But with this right here, this run, they were very, very good, and I was very surprised to see how they performed. So that is, we got one more for the honorable mentions, right? I realized I put a lot of characters on this list. We'll put UI Goku in the honorable mention section. I really like UI Goku. I was considering putting him in the top 10, but I ultimately decided not to. I think that his one-turn dodge, and there's guaranteed one-turn dodging, and then the easy access to a revive, as well as his guaranteed turn of dodging again after that, really does give him some value. So that's where I'm going to put him. I think 10 is a reasonable spot for that character. Let's go ahead and get started with today's list. And at number 10, I'm going to be putting Tech Super Vegito. Tech Super Vegito in that slot 2, slot 3 spot after he supers with his damage reduction is going to be pretty good, but in some of the short form content, it still doesn't even matter, right? Like it's absolutely incredible what they have done to the 10-year anniversary LRs minus Super Saiyan 3 Goku. I think it's been a pretty insane year. But Tech Super Vegito, you guys know the stacking ability that they have, the damage reduction potentially that they have in slot 2, and then their absolute ceiling turn where they're able to counter and do basically one turn any boss if you play things correctly. If you're using like an attack up item or something like that, especially like in the Festival of Battles, you don't even really need an attack up item, right? For the taunt to take care of business, especially if the attacks are sort of spread the way you want them to be, where like a lot of them are after he supers, so you have all these different attack buffs and stuff like that. 1 to 2 turns, this Tech Vegito can take out basically any HP pool that a boss has. And you guys know that 2025, especially leading into like the latter half of the anniversary, the HP numbers just inflated so drastically, where bosses having over 1 billion HP is pretty common now. And that's also just a reflection of just how powerful units have become. This Gogeta can easily eclipse like 60 to 70 million on the first turn. Same thing with this Omega. This guy with support can do some pretty crazy numbers. This guy on his taunt turn, we'll be talking about him later, can do some pretty crazy numbers, right? Like it's just, we have seen a massive shift in terms of boss HP numbers, and this Tech Vegito can still sort of work his way through it. They made Vegito himself so strong that like you had to time gate him, because if he was permanent, it would just be too much for the game. Like they wouldn't be able to handle it, I think. So Tech Vegito at 10, definitely a big fan of how they designed him, but I wish that he would have a little bit more short form viability. Again, 3 to 4 turn fights are just not what this guy is designed for, and that was fine coming out of the 10th anniversary because every fight was basically going 15 turns. You look at the Jiren Red Zone fight, the fights against Goku and Vegeta, the blue Goku, the blue Vegeta, again, at the end of their red zones, you look at the Battle Hard Formidable Foes. Those were a little bit more short form, and that's where characters like Beast Gohan and AGL UI Goku would really come into play. But like these two in those fights were like I remember playing like part 1 of the anniversary, or like going into part 2 where the Battle Hard Formidable Foes was just sort of like the hardest events in the game. And I was like, yeah, Vegito is great and Super Gogeta is great, but they can't tank something in slot 1. And like that's something that this guy could do. So you guys probably remember this if you've been watching since then. Like I had this guy at 1C and people were not happy about it, right? So like it's just the way the content has shifted, and we've seen a way more aggressive version of that. Then rather than taking a lot of damage, they just lose you the fight, right? So I think that these characters are still very good, and 10 I think is a fair spot, just again because he does not have that short-term like slot 1 capability whatsoever, right? Like it just, you cannot do it in this new content. So number 10 for Super Vegito, pretty big fall. He was number 1 for a majority of my tier list this year, but that's just the way the game goes. Moving on to number 9, I have a Super Saiyan 3 into Super Saiyan 4 Goku. To me, it really just comes down to he has the 70% chance to dodge, and that's really about it in terms of like what I like about this character. They both have very similar things on what you're trying to do in like long form content, where this guy is an extremely good linking partner for this guy. He's an extremely good linking partner for this guy, right? So you see that right there and you're like, oh yeah, that's solid, right? That's definitely what we're expecting. But with the support that he is providing, the ability to potentially take away supers and AoEs, the heal that he has, the damage reduction support, the offensive to defensive support, Power Beyond Super Saiyan is littered all over this list, right? power beyond Super Saiyan, 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 power beyond Super Saiyan. You get the idea? He's and if it's not power beyond Super Saiyan, giant ape power, right? So it's like he is supporting a lot of the best characters in the game, giving them that extra damage reduction, which would definitely be huge. He has the ability to offensively stack, defensively stack. He's providing crits for you. He's doing a lot of good stuff. You can use him in the Festival of Battles. You can use him in short form content. To me, it's not even close for who the best aging 10th anniversary LR is so far. Tech Vegito, very good, but this guy has just really been the most valuable LR out of this anniversary so far. Because of the way that they've handled Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta in specific, with this guy being just an absolute, like, these two are some of the most well-designed EZAs ever. We'll talk a little bit more about them later. But this guy also being like a top 4 unit in the game. I don't know exactly where I'm going to place him. I'm kind of freestyling this one, to be honest. But he, like, again, the top, like, 6, these 6 characters, you really can argue anywhere, in my opinion. So that's why it doesn't really matter. But, like, the way that Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and GT has been handled this year with the Super EZAs for the year 2s, right? The limited time buffs that we had for Baby. Like, GT has just had, like, some crazy love this year. GT bosses went from, like, a joke to, like, oh my god, is this the best team in the game? Like, it's absolutely crazy the way GT has been handled this year. But with that being said, this guy, Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Super Saiyan 4 Goku, just has so much utility that it's almost impossible to put him really anywhere else in terms of, like, who the most valuable LR out of this anniversary has been. If you're looking for a Festival of Battles killer, it's this guy, right? Or honestly, even this guy. Like, these two are just incredible in there. And it's the same thing for him, though. But, like, he's just as good, especially if you're trying to do, like, a rotation of this guy. Like, you run them and stack alongside Super Saiyan 4 Goku. It's really good. So, number 9, I think, is a good spot for him. Keep in mind, it feels low, but there are 6 new LRs that we've gotten since July. So, just naturally with the pecking order, things are just falling down a little bit, right? That's all it is. But let's go ahead and move on to the number 8 spot, which is going to be the Tech Super Saiyan Gods, Goku and Vegeta. I don't know why I couldn't say that. The Tech Gods, right? Like, I oversimplified that for no reason. So the Tech Gods, very, very good unit. They have their introductory damage reduction and their guard. Then when you fuse, you also get the Rainbow Orb changing, the action break, all of that fun stuff, the ability to stack, the ability to dodge. You probably could argue maybe something like this. I kind of like that a little bit better, but I'm going to go with this. I just think that the guard and the 77% damage reduction can potentially get around the need to dodge for that one turn. But the problem is that third turn really can be an issue in some of this form of content. But you also have characters that can protect them and put them in slot 2. So that way it's not going to be as much of a problem. And if it's a 3-turn fight and they appear turn 1, then you're not going to see them again. Or well, you will see them again, excuse me. But you potentially will have the fight over with your turn 3 sort of mechanics and stuff like that. They're on Movie Heroes. So now we have a character with a taunt. We have another character with a taunt. There are ways to work around them being a little bit soft in that third turn. And it's the same case for these guys too. But with their transform state, what they're able to do with their ability to create the rainbow orbs, you have the action break, you have the additional turn of 77% damage reduction, you have the dodging. This guy is doing all kinds of fun stuff. He is a demon, right? Like, they are very, very, very good. The 7-year anniversary LRs are some of the best aging, like, not even best aging, but just like some of the most quality EZAs we've ever seen. I'll just go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. We're going to do this. So when you have these these characters right here, why do I like this guy better? Well, A, they're better in the festival. And B, they just have some more like utility with their linking partners, right? Like, these guys link up very well with this guy, which definitely matters. But these guys link up with you. They link up with you. They link up with those super EZAs, right? They fit in on Giant Ape Power. Like, there's just a lot of different ways that you can run these guys right now. And I just think they're a little bit better from the gods, simply for the fact that this Gogeta is also providing you with a scouter and is also being able to super. So, or counter supers. So in the Festival of Battles, when you have this ability to counter the supers, there's a lot of phases where Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta can just be like your ace. And the Tech Gods are just not the same thing, because this counter is, you can easily have a counter that's over 1 billion damage, right? Because of the multiplier that this has. If you use like nuking items, if you're doing attack up items and things like that, you can easily get this counter to over 1 billion, because it'll be like 300 million. And then you have to think about that times 4 multiplier, and it's going to be a 1 billion counter. So when Super Saiyan Mini Goku from Daima decides to do a super, you can kiss him goodnight, right? Because of this super. It's absolutely unbelievable how much damage this guy can put out, the offensive capabilities that he has, the defensive capabilities that he has with the damage reduction per rainbow orb, with the scouter, which again is one of the most valuable mechanics in the game, bar none. I'm not like, there's no argument. The scouter is one of the most powerful things you could possibly have as a unit in Dokkan. When you take away elements of RNG from Dokkan, the difficulty level goes from N per se down to like 4 because you know where you can put characters that are going to be able to handle it. Now, sometimes are you gonna get unlucky and the super just, it puts you in a horrible spot where like in the Festival of Battles, you have to break up your rotation or something like that. Sure. But when you know that you have to break up the rotation rather than just like leaving it up to chance. So I'll put you in a good situation, right? Like, let's just say you're floating this guy, the super's in slot 3, but you have this guy potentially as well. You see the super's in slot 3. It's like, do you chance the 77% dodge, or you just guarantee that you're not going to be able to take any damage from it, right? And especially in something like the Festival of Battles, you have to think about these things because it's like, I'm 2.5 hours into this run. Do I want to break up the rotation in order to keep it going? I probably will because I want to keep this run going. But you're not running this guy in the Festival of Battles anyway. It's just a hypothetical where you have like a slot 3 character that can't take a super. Maybe Namegoku didn't stack up enough. Maybe you're running AGL Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and the super in the Gogeta phase is in slot 3. And you're like, okay, even on his active, that super is going to get him. So it's just, again, a very powerful mechanic to be able to see supers. And that's really the only reason that I have him above. But this guard and 77% damage reduction, 2 turns of 77% damage reduction, this guy's ability to counter, these guys then their ability to dodge. If you want to argue Super Saiyan 3 Goku over the gods, I think honestly you can do that, but Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta, just especially with their utility linked up with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, linked up with Super Saiyan 4 Goku, the way that they have accessibility in the Festival of Battles, the way that they work in short form content, the way that they work really in all forms of content, these are 2 of the few units in the game that excel in all of it. And I think that's why, as an easy A, like they're just coming in above the summonable characters at this point, solely for that reason. And it's a really incredible with how they were designed because, like, usually characters, they just don't end up looking like that. And it's just how things go. So Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, I'm going to have them at number 7. Let's move on to number 6. And this is where things get almost impossible from this point onwards, right? Because these, especially these 5 LRs right here, are so tightly grouped, and I have a lot of trouble rating them. I think they're all extremely good, and really, no matter what I do, people are not going to like it. And that's just one of those cases where it is what it is. I'm trying my best. It is so hard to rank these characters, dude. Like, I'm already thinking about it, and I'm like, I don't like it. But let's just go ahead and do it. Rosé, I'm going to put in at number 6. Typically, he would be at 5 or 4, but the introduction of Gogeta and Frieza has sort of shuffled things up a little bit. Rosé, Goku Black, and Zamasu. Very good character. They look extremely well on the Omega Shenron team, the way that they can work on the Super Bosses team, having like AGL Rosé running around with them, the domain from Omega Shenron, that type of support going. They hit extremely hard. Some of the hardest hitting active skills in the game, especially in any form of content, right? Their defensive capability, the way that you can buff them up with extreme class allies or future saga allies, the way you can run them on a lot of different teams. I think they are a phenomenal unit. Very, very good. I have very few complaints with how they are designed. It is just a very bizarre time right now. I think if Super Bosses was better as a team and you could run 2 of them, it would be a little bit better, but sort of similar to Gogeta and Frieza, like really the main place you want to be running them is the Omega Shenron team, which is sort of how things are going right now. The Omega Shenron team to me is just, it's been incredible how like valuable that team has been since it came out. Really like the way that this Rosé and Zamasu are designed. Don't have too many negatives to say about them. I guess we could start pulling up these characters now that we've sort of gotten into the top 5 and the top 6 area. With Rosé, Goku Black, and Zamasu, what I like about them especially is the way that they can work with like non-future saga like allies, right? Not like in here, but like extreme class allies. Having some links like this, like Big Bad Bosses, Legendary Power, Fierce Battle, Nightmare, Fear and Faith, these are good links, right? Dismal Future is really the only one where you look at like some of the extreme class characters on this list where you're really not going to be seeing them. But when we look at linking partners, right? Unfortunately, we've lost LR Rosé, but if we look at how he links up with Goku Black right here, look at all of what happens when we get to the link levels at 10. We have 60% attack, 25% defense, 4 extra key, and crit chance while also debuffing the enemy with these links. And that's a Fear and Faith, Nightmare, Dismal Future, right? but we're going to be losing Dismal Future if we link him up with Omega Shenron. But do you know what we have when we link him up with Omega Shenron? Big Bad Bosses, Fierce Battle, right? Legendary Power, Nightmare. I have to look at the Nightmare link. I don't think this is what happens when I don't know but this is because I play JP and I'm not used to like reading the links. You'd think I'd be better at that at this point. But if we go to the old Omega Shenron here, they're going to be sharing just a few, right? Like we're going to be sharing Fear and Faith, Fierce Battle, Legendary Power, Big Bad Bosses, which is an extremely good set of links, right? Like Fear and Faith, if we look at this right here, we're going to be getting extra Ki, right? So Ki can always sometimes be a problem, but this Omega Shenron could sort of work around that. I really like the way that this Omega Shenron is designed. To me, his placement is one of the hardest too, because I really like this unit. But these two linking together, they can work just fine with the Big Bad Bosses, with the support that this guy can provide, having his domain active. These guys end up working very, very well together. Goku Black and Zamasu are on a ton of teams that can use the help. Super Bosses, Future Saga, Realm of Gods, Accelerated Battle, right? These are all really good teams. Power Beyond Super Saiyan, Kamehameha, Fused Fighters. You can make it work, especially if you have Future Saga category allies on the team, if you're running like double blue Goku and Vegeta, right? So that's really, really good. You can get this guy's passive. He works well defensively. Again, it's just a very tough spot right now because there are 6 extremely good modern LRs in the game. So somebody has to be number 6. For me, it's going to be Rosé, Goku Black, and Zamasu. But if you want to move them up, that's completely fine. I have no issue with that whatsoever. Really, it just comes down to preference. Now, number 5, I'm going to be putting Gohan, Goten, and Trunks. Don't really like the team restriction for this character. That's really all I have to say in terms of the negatives, but they are extremely impressive. Really, I kind of like this, but this is a tough one, chat. What would you guys do? I'm not sure. These two right here is probably going to be like the hardest one. I really don't know which one I like. I think I like this better because I like running the Omega team more. Yeah, and especially now with Golden Frieza being added to the Omega team. Yeah, I think I like this better. 5 for Rosé, Goku Black, and then 6 for Gohan, Goten, and Trunks. I really like Gohan, Goten, and Trunks. Don't take this as negative, right? I just don't. It's tough, dude. Because again, with Hybrid Saiyans right now, it is definitely not perfect. If we look at Hybrid Saiyans, is it bad? No. I think potentially if part 2 is superhero and we get an update for that and we get like another Beast Gohan unit, then guess what? We're back, right? Like, so I think if Hybrid Saiyans can get that help that it potentially needs, these guys could shoot way up. We're talking number 2, number 3, number 4, right? So I'm going to keep them at 6 for now, but Gohan, Goten and Trunks are unbelievable. I really like the way that this unit is designed. I think they're extremely good. But the problem, again, youth, Hybrid Saiyans, just 2 teams that are right now not in the best way. And Rosé is just benefiting from all these different buffs that we're getting for the Omega Shenron team. Omega Shenron himself, this Golden Frieza, right? It's just really crazy how these teams have been buffed. The Tech Sin sub EZA, the Nova Shenron free-to-play LR, all these different things with that team, the STR Omega Super EZA. All of these characters have been just buffing this singular team, and it's been getting so much better. And like, when I'm going into a fight for like a no item run, I'm like, okay, let me try the Omega Shenron team and see how that one operates, right? That's really been my no item team recently. And that is just a testament to how good Omega Shenron is, Rosé, Goku Black is. And all of these buffs are individually what's going to push this character up because they just have a better situation than this unit right now. You could argue that this unit's kit individually is better than this unit's kit, but with the current form of content and the way that teams are shifted right now, I prefer Rosé to Gohan and Goten and Trunks. But that isn't to say that this character is like objectively just worse in every facet. I just think right now the situation is a little bit more catered to Rosé, Goku Black. But that leaves us into the number 4 spot. And this one, excuse me, may be the trickiest one. I really like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. I don't know if I want to put him over Omega right now, just for the simple fact that we have that team. I think I'm going to go for it. I'm going to put Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta here at number 4. I think he was specifically sort of targeted with some of the short form content. Guard and the damage reduction is great, but unfortunately, it's not enough when these supers go way higher, and it was very off-putting seeing a character who had come out 2 weeks ago getting defeated by normals against a character like Gohan. I think Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta has a lot of good stuff that you're looking for. His ability to have immense, like, super high attack stats, right? The way that he can just sort of out damage the opponent before he can take them out or before they can take him out is absolutely incredible. I think GT Heroes is an okay team. I think the Fused Fighter setup right now is a pretty good team. It is very hard for me right now between 3 and 4 if I like Gogeta over Omega, but I think right now I like Omega over Gogeta for the simple fact that I think Golden Frieza just works extremely well on that team. And now we can sort of start to flesh out this list a little bit right here. I have Omega at number 3 for the simple fact that I like his team a little bit better. I like the way that he is suited for the new content. You have slot 1 characters that can sort of fulfill where he needs to be. You get that extra damage reduction support going. You have a ton of rainbow orb changing. Ki is not an issue with this Omega Shenron team. The link set that you have with Omega Shenron is extremely good for the setup that you have. I just think that his team right now is one of the best in the game. And if you want to argue Gogeta 4 or like something like that over him, I think that's completely fine. But it is very, very tight, right? Like really all of these characters up here can be shifted around. And I think that's what's so fun about this. This is just a tough list to make. I'll be honest. This like, because, you know, when you're publicly voicing your opinion like that, and it's so easy to be wrong about these things in the eyes of some people, it is very, very tricky to do this top 3 here. But I think I like Omega Shenron more right now. I just think that Golden Frieza, especially the addition of Golden Frieza, has made this Extreme Class team extremely, no pun intended, really, really good, right? So if we look at Omega in specific, and we've talked about G4 a ton, right? Just the ability to have the orb changing, the base damage reduction, the support that he is giving, right? The domain that he's able to provide. Characters that you have like Tex and Shenron that go in slot 1, the Legion of Shadow Dragons, Golden Frieza, right? Rosé, Goku, Black, and Zamasu. There's just so many good characters that are on this team that work extremely well on here. And it just has a lot of really good tools right now that just makes the team really good. So you have like Golden Frieza with his taunt, Golden Frieza with his guard and damage reduction. And then you also, on top of that, are adding this this Omega Shenron domain on what Golden Frieza can do. And even then, you can tag into Gogeta, and Gogeta can still look just as impressive, right? You still have that going on here. So, like, you look at the list here, and it's like, you know, you want to put him over here, fine, right? Because of the fact that Gogeta is so damn good as well. Fuse Fighters, Omega Shenron team, some of the best in the game right now. I think that Omega just sort of, I like his team a little bit more. I think it's one of the most well-designed teams for the current state of content. Maybe content will shift. We'll get some more Ki Blast supers, and this Gogeta's supering potential is going to be there and even more increase his damage. Not every fight in the game is a Ki Blast super right now, and so that makes it very tricky. I think this guy, if he would have had just like counters to every super 70%, something like that, right? Like that's definitely what I'm thinking. But Gogeta at 4, if you want to argue him higher, sure. Omega Shenron at 3, if you want to argue him higher or lower, absolutely fine. But let's go ahead and get into the top 2. So if I put number 2 in, you guys know who number 1's going to be. So number 2, we have Blue Goku and Vegeta. Blue Goku and Vegeta are one of those characters that it's just absolutely incredible how well they ended up being designed for this specific state of content that we are in, where if a unit is disabling dodge, we have a way to get around that. I made the mistake in one of my videos previously where I was like, dodge nullification is a big problem for this character, but I was wrong. It's not just that turn, it is permanent. You know, Dokkan, there's a lot of information in this game. It's hard to keep all of it in your head at all times. I appreciate the guys that can do that. I'm not as talented, right? So with this Goku and Vegeta, the ability to counter the supers and stuff like that, or not counter supers, but countering dodge nullification is one of the most valuable mechanics in the game. The damage reduction, the dodge that they have, it's just, this unit is unbelievable. It's like, everybody sort of knew, like, this was a very frequent comment that I got on my video, like, who is going to be the best character here, right? Like, who's going to be the most well-aging unit from this GDC? And the answer seemed pretty obvious. Everyone was like, this character, right? Because of the chance that they have to dodge. So, dodging, damage reduction, the ability to have the Vegito active that gets rid of dodge nullification, which is one of the most broken boss mechanics in the game, one of the hardest to work around in Dokkan right now. This character, they can work around it, right? When you tag into Vegeta, I haven't really been talking about it lately, but because these characters just aren't made for it, right? But the Festival of Battles, this character can work in the Festival of Battles. You are just contingent on running this Vegeta and Trunks, but they work extremely well in the Festival of Battles. If you tag into Vegeta and do his active skill, that is like, especially if you're using 2 of them, Glorio's done, right? Like, I'm going to upload a Festival of Battles run later today, and you guys are going to see just how incredibly impressive this character is, right? With their ability to have insane attack, right? Their offensive numbers are going through the roof. Defensively, they're fine, right? They have the damage reduction, they have the dodge. These things work just fine. If you need to tag into Vegeta to take out a phase, you can do that. But the actives, you're not using the Vegito active in the Festival of Battles. You're using the Father-Son Gallic Gun because that is one of the harder hitting active skills in the game, simply for the fact of that you've been stacking with the attack for this Goku for the whole fight on his 18 key. Trunks and Vegeta have been building their 18 key, or building their super with the, or with their damage with the 18 key. So that is why I think this character is so good. They're good in the Festival of Battles. They're good in fights that nullify dodge. They're good in fights that are short form content because of their ability to dodge. They have everything that they need. But that leads us to number one, maybe a recency bias pick with Gogeta and Golden Frieza. This unit is going to be crazy. They're nowhere near as good as they can be because right now you can't really run two of them. And it's not to the unit's fault, it's to the game's fault, right? It's always funny how, like, you just have to blame the game. Movie Heroes right now is a fine team, but it has some work that needs to be done. This guy's EZA could be huge for Movie Heroes, right? You have this Golden Frieza. If he EZAs, you have him, you have Goku and Vegeta right here, and then things do get a little bit dicey, right? Beast Gohan is all right. If these two were to potentially EZA soon, Movie Heroes really could be in business, but this team is not at the state that it was a little bit ago. Maybe the ROF Blues get their EZA, so this team is just not cutting it right now. But if we go to movie bosses, it's the same thing. No real major updates in terms of summonable releases since this Int Broly. This guy's EZA is good, but one of the more baffling decisions in the game was the decision to not put him in with like the character right away, right? Because this is just like Dokkan micromanaging things and trying to make sure that players don't have as many stones as possible on the banner night. The business is the business, right? At the end of the day, I don't like it, but it's the business. So this guy comes out on the 4th. So that's a week after the banner drops. So we have to wait for that. These Brolys, unfortunately, are dated. Cellmax, not very good anymore. This guy, not very good anymore. Janemba is pretty good. The Broly trio need their orbs. This is actually like an okay like pairing right here, these two right now. But again, the problem with running two of these right now is just their teams are not good enough. But with that being said, those are the negatives. Let's get into the positives. This guy on the Omega Shenron team is unreal. Right? We have so many good things going on with the extra damage reduction, right? When we have these, the ability to tag into like Gogeta and all of these things. If we're running the super class one, we got guard, we got 70% damage reduction, right? If you want to run them on a Movie Hero setup, right? When we have the extreme class allies, we're getting the guaranteed super, which is also going to be giving us, this additional attack bonuses right here. You have a taunt. If you tag into Gogeta, you have the ability to just essentially dodge everything. These guys are built for all forms of content. I don't really know if Festival is going to be the bee's knees for them, but you have a full heal, right, with this guy, which is very valuable. This is not like with 10 orbs, you recover a bunch of HP. You grab a key orb, you get a full heal. This is one of those teams where HP is not going to be an issue because of that. You have the ability to debuff the enemy, and there are a decent amount of fights where you can debuff the attack of the enemy. You have guaranteed additional supers. You have guard for that 5 turns, guaranteed guard with 70% damage reduction. And this taunt, if you run him in a stage where the enemy is hitting a lot, you are everywhere, right? Like you are doing so much damage. The attack can be absolutely incredible. But even if it's not, you still have that defensive prowess with the taunt. Right? You do this right here and you're getting an extra 400% defense on top of guard, on top of 70% damage reduction. And for every attack received, you're getting extra crit chance right here. You're getting extra guard whenever your guard is activated, which is going to be all of the appearances right here. This is just an insane character who I think easily is going to be claiming this #1 spot on this list. If you want to argue Blue Goku and Vegeta over it, I think that's completely over them, excuse me. I think it's completely fine. But right now, I'm just going to be going with the recency bias pick, and we're going to be putting Gogeta at #1 with Golden Frieza. So that is how the list is looking right now for the top 10. Feeling pretty good about this one. Usually sometimes I'll get like a little bit caught up on these lists and be like, I don't know. I don't think that list was like the best it could have been. But I think in this case, it actually worked out pretty well. I am a big fan of the way that this one sort of worked out. And this is just sort of where we are right now. So with that being said, I appreciate everybody. Let's go ahead and shout out some members, and that'll be the end of the video. Okay, so if you want to become a channel member and further support the content that I'm doing over here, it is always greatly appreciated, never required. It is just a nice way to show some extra support. And again, I'm always grateful for it. It helps push the channel, helps me make the content that I love making for you guys. I love doing this and I would love to continue doing it into the future. But as always, not required. You watching the videos, you supporting the videos is more than enough, and I'm still just as grateful for that. But big shouts out to the extra supporters here. We have Malcolm, Driftix, God Boruto Savages, Junior, Sean C, Blue Sun, Preston Kitty, Tekka, Chunkster, my scroll is being weird, Soldier 91, Yay, Wesley, Cosmo, Darth Anguish, Van, Brian V, and Raudokun. So thank you to all of my channel members. Again, I appreciate you greatly. Thank you for the extra support. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like before you go. Subscribe for your news. That way you don't miss out on any of my Dokkan content. Let me know your top 10 below. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? Thank you guys for watching as always, and I'll see you all in the next one.